All right, welcome to the annual meeting of the Board of Directors of the Environmental Facilities Corporation, Thursday, June 22nd. It is 12:09. Kate, could you start with a roll call, please?
Certainly. Chair Stefanko.
Here.
Director Westerman. Here. Director Leary.
Here.
Director Corcoran.
Here.
Director DeMarquis. Here. Director Krasansky.
Here.
And Director Zarofsky.
I'm here.
You have a quorum of the board.
Outstanding. All right, well, first item on the agenda is approval of the draft minutes from May 11. We had full attendance, so all can participate. Any discussion before we go for a motion? Okay, I'll take a motion in a second, please.
So moved.
Thank you, James. Francis, I'll make you number 2. You're okay with that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Next item is report of the chair. I don't have much to report. We did have 2 committees, audit and finance met, so we'll be hearing from Francis and Charlie on those 2. And we also have a new member here, Emily Jamison, who's will be part of ID number 1 as a fellow DOB alum. Welcome her. And welcome aboard. Yeah, it's nice to finally have the position filled.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you'll be discussing that next too.
Yeah, a little bit. So yes, welcome. We're very excited to have Emily Jamison on board. Appointed effective today with hopefully approved by the board in ID number 1. And we'll have our new CFO. We have been without a CFO for a long time, but as I've told everybody who will listen to me, it's because we didn't need to settle. We've waited to get Emily. We have such a great team here, and I've heard it from outside folks, and our credit speaks to that. How well we do, which Brian will share when we go to the market to sell our bonds, speaks to that. So we've been fine, without one. But institution like ours, right, we should have a CFO. So it's very exciting to have Emily on board. And we did share her resume with the board members during the week, so you've all seen that. But just some highlights. She's a graduate of MIT. And she spent more than 10 years with the Division of Budget. Most recently, before we were lucky enough to grab her away, as Assistant Chief Budget Examiner in the Mental Hygiene Unit. She's been doing that for several years. But right before that, she was Associate Budget Examiner for Capital and Debt in the Expenditure Debt Unit. And she has lots of experience with public debt and PIP bonds and GO bonds. And Henrik, when he was at State Controller's Office, worked with her and has a lot of experience with Emily. So she comes with the right finance and public finance experience. And also we like her approach to management and just kind of an overall good grab from us. For us. So we're very excited, and you'll be hearing more from her at future meetings. So thank you. Welcome.
Welcome.
And then from Brian, want to give an update. We priced the New York Water deal on Tuesday and yesterday, had a good outcome, and I'll let Brian, not sitting at the table, we're getting more and more people, but you can see him and he'll give you an update on the results of the pricing and savings for the refunding for New York Water.
Thanks. So over the last 2 days, we offered just over $301 million worth of bonds for sale. We took in $947 million worth of orders for those bonds over a 2-day period. First day being retail. We took in 42 different separate institutions coming in for that. Mainly those are called single managed accounts, basically your wealth advisors for that. However, because the yields are going up, we are seeing more and more individual retail coming back into our deals. And then yesterday, we went back out for the institutional side. And we had 5 firms come in for orders of over 50 million apiece. So great demand for the bonds. The TIC was a 382, and the savings was $20 million. And just a little color from today. I don't know if everybody saw it, but the Bank of England raised their prime rate by 50 basis points. And as of this morning, before I came in here, treasuries were off 3 to 5 basis points. So again, we made the right timing. You know, sometimes it's better to be lucky.
Yeah.
You know, you can't time these things, but we did a very good job. So,
Awesome.
So good timing and,
Good work.
good work and something that's out there that folks want to buy.
Yeah.
So
Great.
it helps.
And the savings to New York
Well,
Water.
savings-
Significant.
Right, for New York
Yeah.
Waters,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Over the life, so.
Yeah.
Very good. And that's all I have.
I had one quick thing. On June 10th, Maureen Coleman was honored by her undergraduate alma mater at the College of St. Rose as the 2023 Alumni of the Year. A few of us from the office were able to go and join her family members, and it was, I know she's embarrassed about this. She doesn't like the spotlight, but it was great. It was a great event. The college put on a great night for us, and congratulations.
It did give me an opportunity to speak about EFC and what we do, so I
Very
did like
cool.
that.
Cool. That's great.
Well, I mean, anyone, you know, who we can,
Yeah.
Yes.
who we can broadcast that to, it's very important. And, you know, so it was.
Hey,
it
the
was
city
a
of
great
Albany
opportunity.
benefiting. I mean,
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
that's a big project.
And we did have someone there who's got a project. So
Yeah.
Great.
Well, and it's also nice that you were recognized because it's sort of the exemplary members of the community.
That's
the
right.
service,
Yeah.
The focus
Great.
as well. It's
Right.
nice to sort of
We're all
know
public
that-
servants and, you know, it's important what we do.
And you honor us all.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's for what I do at EFC, so it was a great opportunity to talk about the work we do.
Great stuff. Okay. On that high note, all right, we did have, like I mentioned earlier, we did have some committees. Finance was first, chaired by Member Corcoran. We did, so we'll have some board actions, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4? All right.
For all the committees.
We have a bunch of board actions coming up before we head to resolutions. But Francis, would you like to kick us off there?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance Committee met this morning. We had 3 items of business that we conducted. The first was the Finance Committee approved the minutes from May 11th, 2023 this year. The second item was the annual review and reassessment of the Finance Committee charter. There were no proposed changes, and so therefore it's a recommendation by our Finance Committee that the Finance Committee charter be readopted by the full board when it comes up as an item. The third piece of business was the presentation of the annual debt report issued for the fiscal year ended March 31, 2023, and Albert led us through that discussion. And it's the recommendation of the Finance Committee that the annual debt report be accepted and approved by the full board upon its presentation as ID number 2 on today's board agenda, Mr. Chairman. And with that, that was the extent of our meeting and the items of business conducted. And we had a full board.
Chair Stefanko, if you wanted to call for the motion to approve the charter?
The charter, yes. So I'll take a motion in a second, please, on approval of the charter for the Finance Committee.
So moved. Second.
All right, that's, I think that was Adam and Francis. If there's no further discussion, I'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous.
And that is the only required action for the
The
finance
only ones
committee.
for finance, correct. Okay. So the next committee that met was the Audit Committee, chaired by Member Krasansky. And there'll be 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 total. Yes, 6 total actions for audit committees?
Let's see if I can remember.
Take it away.
We had a conversation with KPMG. They came in. We, in-depth private conversation, but also, with everybody in the room here. They went through their audit. Very positive, no findings, positive, substantive discussion. We have, I think later on, we're going to approve the statements, right? The annual report. But you're looking for things like we did. We discussed the rotation of the, we basically, we've already rotated the lead auditor. We don't need to do that. Do we have to vote on that or no?
No.
No,
so-
okay. So we also discussed having an internal audit function and decided we would take a pass on that. Do we need to vote on that?
Yes, the
Okay.
board does need to.
So I'll make a motion to say that we are comfortable, is that the wording? Without an internal internal audit function right now. Every year we have discussion, we discussed it. I'll make a motion that we're comfortable not creating that function, internal audit function at EFC this year.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you.
All right, so the first item is the report. I missed one. Okay, no, yes. So the independent auditor's report is recommended for approval of the full board. I'll take a motion and second.
So moved.
Thank you, Adam.
I'll second.
Second from Charlie. Okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that is approved.
And then we do have a first and a second for the
Yeah.
not requiring an internal
We
audit.
already have
Yeah.
a motion and a second.
We do, yeah.
Okay.
We're a little out of order.
Yeah.
Is there any additional discussion on the internal audit issue? Excellent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I did want to just confirm with Chair Krasansky that the recommendation of the audit committee was approval of ID number 3 when it comes up on the board
Yeah.
agenda.
Definitely, yeah. That's right, yes.
Okay, that was unanimous. And the last one, the next item is readoption of the audit committee charter,
Yes.
which is recommended for full approval.
I'll make a motion that we vote in favor of just the same charter we've had, no changes, we discussed it. Yeah.
Great, I'll take a second. Adam with the second. Outstanding, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. Okay, the next item for full board consent is consent of the full board that the governance committee is effective in fulfilling its responsibilities. So now we're going to go through each of the committees and confirm their effectiveness, which I fully agree with. So governance is first. Could I have a motion and a second, please?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Francis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Outstanding. The next item is the Finance Committee, and it's in confirming consent of the full board that it's fulfilling its responsibilities effectively. I'll take a motion in a second.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Vita.
I'll second.
Second, Charlie. Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Unanimous again. Thank you. The final one is, again, Audit Committee, full consent of the board,
So moved.
fulfilling its responsibilities effectively. I'll take a motion in a second, please.
So moved.
Francis.
Thank you, Adam. James, thank you. Any discussion? No? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, unanimous. We're moving along nicely. The final action for our committees is the reappointment of the committee memberships and chairs. So each of the committees is made up of our independent members. Audit Committee chair by Member Krasansky, Finance chaired by Member Corcoran, and Governance chaired by Member DeMarchi. These are all put forward to the board for full approval. Any discussion? Outstanding. I'll take a motion in a second for reappointment of those chairs and committee members.
I'll make motion.
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Francis. We got multiple Motions and seconds there.
That's enthusiasm.
Happy. We're so agreeable today.
Really are. Okay, so no further discussion on that. I'll take a vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, outstanding. Approved. That was quick. That was great work. Thank you for your patience and help there. I have no more further unfinished business. Unless anyone else does, we will move to resolutions. All right, resolution ID number 1, Katie.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation approving the appointment of a chief financial officer of the corporation.
Thank you, Kate. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Francis and James, thank you. Maureen Coleman will present.
I already spoke about Emily in my president's report, but again, just an outstanding experience and temperament and management style, and we're very excited to have her here. I don't know if Henrik wants to say anything in past experience, but
she's just a cherished colleague. I think we have picked just an absolute gem for this position. Welcome.
Great.
be seeing hopefully much more of her.
Okay. Any further discussion? Welcome aboard, Emily.
All those in favor?
All those in favor? Now, welcome.
Welcome aboard.
Okay, that was unanimous. ID number 2.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation with respect to the review and approval of the annual debt report of the corporation.
Thank you. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Adam, and we'll go Christine this time. So 2 hands, Adam, James and Christine seconded. Okay, Albert Snide will present.
Thank you. So before the board is the annual debt report of the corporation. The first schedule on the report lists EFC's SRF debt by series. There were 2 issues in state fiscal year 2023. The first 2022A was for a total par of $413 million and was issued under the New York Municipal Water Finance Authority indenture. The second was for a total par of $327 million and issued under the 2010 Master Financing indenture. Second schedule in the report is a listing of debt issued on EFC's industrial finance program. No issuances or redemptions this year. And the third schedule lists all costs of issuance for series 2022A and 2022B.
Yeah. Discussion.
David.
Agreed. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Resolution number 3, Kate.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation accepting the financial statements of the corporation for the fiscal year ended March 31st, 2023.
Thank you. I have a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Charlie. But a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Vita. Albert again with the presentation.
So before the board are the state audited financial statements for the state fiscal year ending March 31st, 2023. Overall, EFC had great financial results. A net position increased by approximately $365 million and was positive across all funds, including administrative funds. The primary drivers were increased project grant revenues and higher interest income on investments. As KPMG said in their presentation, we expect an unmodified or a clean opinion. And that's, again, due to the great work of the team and all of the ticking and tying that everyone does on a daily basis. So thank you to them for that. And, the high level indicator that I always like to judge is when, our grant revenues nearly match the change in net position. That means everything is kind of recycling as it should. And our grant revenues were $357 million. Increase versus a $365 million total increase in net position. So that's the quick indicator that everything is kind of working as it should financially.
And I'll just add that the auditors sort of confirmed what we see as well. And that is, there's, more volume, more projects, but you guys are up to the task. And that they were very impressed, from their point of view, looking in from all the activity that you're doing and that you will be doing. They were, again, like I said, confident that you guys can handle it. It's great.
You're
Thank you.
handling a lot and you're
Yeah.
also systemizing.
Exactly. Yeah. That's right.
Thank you.
And also the efficiency of it, productivity of it is, you don't have a choice but to do more.
Well, we are looking at processes.
Right.
We've gotten more IT staff
Right.
to work on those systems and also hired staff in all divisions. Because the work, we've got the Bond Act and we've got all the federal dollars, and the work is not, I don't think, going to decrease anytime soon. So we want to make sure that we've got the right amount of staff.
And I think we have a good mix of experienced and
Yes.
new.
Great.
Right. Yeah, and trying to build,
Build
some folks will be retiring.
Yeah.
So trying to get that
Mhm.
backstop. So there has been, I'd say, significant increase in staff in the last. Maureen over there who sees all the, yes. But, the SRF pays for our staffing to work on the SRF, and we have the money, and we should spend it to make sure we're adequately staffed. And, and then we use the appropriate resources we need to take care of the state, from the state grant programs, et cetera.
Thank you for your responsibility on that.
Here. Okay, anything further? Great. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous on ID number 3. ID number 4.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation with respect to the annual review and approval of the investment guidelines and the investment report of the corporation.
I'll go first.
We just need a motion and a second before.
Interesting.
That's all right. I like it. So eager today.
One of them, I'm not the one.
All right,
All
Charlie,
right, Charlie with the motion. Could I have a second, please?
I'll say.
Okay. Thank you, Vita, with the second. All right. Henrik and then Albert.
Gun shy. So yeah, for your consideration are the corporation's investment guidelines. There are no proposed changes from last year. Thank you.
And along with those guidelines, there are several items that are required to be reported. First is the investment guidelines, which are attached to the resolution. The second are the results of the annual audit, which were presented earlier by KPMG. The investment income record, which is shown on the draft financial statements in the line titled investment income, and it totaled $37.3 million this year. A list of fees, commissions, and chargebacks paid to each bank, of which there were none, and an inventory of investments held by the corporation, which is attached to the board package as well, as well as a reconciliation to EFC general.
Okay, discussion? Outstanding. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. ID number 5.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation with respect to the annual review and approval of the corporation's guidelines for the disposition of property.
Okay, could I have a motion and a second, please?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Christine. Second?
Second.
James, with the second. Thank you. Maureen McGrath with the presentation.
Okay, before you again this year are the guidelines for the disposition of property. These are pursuant to Public Authorities Law, Section 2896. All authorities must adopt by resolution a policy and instructions regarding use, awarding, monitoring, and reporting of contracts for the disposal of property, and designate a contracting officer who's responsible for compliance and enforcement of these guidelines. That is my position. These are before you again this year for your review and approval. And according to the policy, EFC shall maintain adequate inventory controls and accountability for all property, inventory its property, determine which property shall be disposed of, produce a written report of such property, and transfer or dispose of such property as promptly as possible. Each authority is required to publish a report listing all real property and include a list of property disposed of with a value of $5,000 or more. This information is submitted into our Public Authorities Reporting Information System, PARIS, and it is also listed on our website. This year, legal staff made minor revisions to the formatting, made it a little easier to read and updating certain statutes, but no material changes. And no property with a value of $5,000 was disposed of. Yeah.
Have we ever?
No.
Not since I've been here.
Thank you, Marie. Discussion. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Resolution number 6.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation amending prior authorizations for financial assistance to be provided by the corporation to certain recipients in connection with the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund.
Okay, could I have a motion and a second, please?
I'll make,
So moved.
Okay, we're gonna go with Adam as the motion, and then we'll go Vita as the second. Christine?
Trying to get in there fast.
Brian McAvoy will be presenting.
Thank you. The first project is for the town of Chesterfield in Essex County. It's for the rehabilitation of the existing surface water treatment plant, as well as the installation of new groundwater sources and the work necessary to integrate the new groundwater source with the existing system. We're requesting authorization to extend the maturity date from October 4th, 2023, December 31st, 2025. The reason for the additional time is permitting for the project was delayed due to COVID and a large backlog with the Army Corps of Engineers who have jurisdiction within the scope. Due to these delays, the design of the intake structure was deferred until the completion of the upgrades to the plant. The second project is for the village of Fonda in Montgomery County. It's a reservoir aeration installation, a new reservoir intake, new filtration units, piping, valves, and pumps at the water treatment plant, replacement of aged water mains, the installation of a new pressure-reducing valve of the mixing system, and supervisory control and data acquisition system for the water storage tank. We're requesting authorization to extend the maturity from September 27, 2023 to December 31st, 2024. The additional time will allow for the delivery of equipment that is delaying the completion of the project. This extension will also support inclusion in the anticipated 2024 pool. Last is for the town of Oneonta in Otsego County. The project is for the creation of the town of Oneonta Southside Water District number 5 and 6, which will serve residents currently on insufficient private wells and consolidate several existing small privately owned water systems along New York State Route 23. We're seeking authorization to extend the maturity date from October 6, 2023 to April 6, 2025. Need the additional time because the groundwater well aquifer testing plan was just approved by the Susquehanna River Basin Commission in May, and the project is now actively in construction with all contracts bid and awarded. Service meters are expected to take 8 to 10 months for delivery.
I have a question on the last
Sure.
one. You mentioned water meters delivery, and on the thing it says not currently metered, so it's being metered. It sounds like newly metered.
I think it's no.
Yeah, so you go, okay,
It's a brand new system,
brand new.
which will have metered.
We'll have meters. Great. Okay. That's what it means. Got it. Thank you. Great.
Any other discussion or questions for Brian? Great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. ID number 7.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation making certain determinations and authorizing certain actions in connection with the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund and authorizing financial assistance payments to certain municipalities to fund eligible drinking water projects from funds appropriated for water infrastructure improvement projects.
Thank you, Kate. Take a motion in a second.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Christine. How about a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, James. Okay. David Phillips with the presentation.
Okay, thank you. First project is for the Green Lawn Water District in Suffolk County. It's for an EC WIA grant. It's a new advanced oxidation process or AOP system to remove 1,4-dioxane from the existing well number 11, which will address an MCL exceedance. Next project is for the Jericho Water District, which is in Nassau County, also an EC WIA grant. It's a new AOP and granular activated carbon or GAC treatment systems at the Stillwell Lane treatment facility. for wells 20 and 21, which will remove 1,4-dioxane and PFOA. The next project is for Madison County. This is for a WIA grant. The project includes creation of a new water district, which is the Clarkville Water District Number 1, which serves portions of the towns of Lincoln and Lenox. And the work includes a brand new distribution system, including mains, valves, and hydrants, in connection to the Onondaga County Water Authority as the source. The new district will serve approximately 170 residences that previously were on private wells that had experienced issues such as excessive hardness and odors, and also inadequate capacity. Next is the Village of Manans in Albany County. This is for a short-term market rate financing and a WIA grant. The project will replace approximately 12,000 linear feet of water main in the South End neighborhood. Mains are 80 to 90 years old, have exceeded their useful lives, and have experienced numerous breaks. The next is the Village of Sands Point in Nassau County. This is for a WIA grant, and this is for a new GAC treatment system for wells 2A and 5A to remove PFOA. And the last project under this ID is for the Water Authority of Great Neck North in Nassau County for a WIA grant. And this is a new AOP and GAC treatment systems for wells 2A, 9, and 11A at the Watermill Lane Treatment Facility to remove 1,4-dioxane and PFOA.
That's it for now. Questions for Dave?
A lot of the PFOAs in there, huh? Getting them up and rolling. What's the total tally on how many PFOA GACs we've funded? Do you know? You don't have to answer now.
Top of my head, I don't, but.
Yeah.
So I've got a related question. Every question I've asked so far, I've gotten great answers to. Okay. And so is a Department of Health question. Actually, about that, had the same thing. Everybody's installing. Seems like these activated charcoal systems.
Yeah.
I mean, they work. Got all these contaminants, and I'm sort of wondering. I've read a little about almost the supply chain for the activated carbon. Is almost wondering the price, but also the availability of all this activated charcoal. Have that ever come up, a concern that there's where it comes from, the supply, the cost, that there could be any kind of a supply chain problem?
And the whole life cycle of it too.
That's right. Yeah, it needs to be replaced. It's constantly being replaced.
And then you were saying before that it is, because I was concerned about are we just producing more contaminated stream with the activated, with the fused charcoal? But you were mentioning before, it was mentioned, I don't know if it was you, but it was mentioned that there's a recycling on it. Yeah. So maybe we don't have to deal with it here, but I would be interested in that whole life cycle of it.
Yeah, I mean, just overview. Yeah. Typically, they start with virgin carbon.
Yep.
And it can be regenerated and reused. For PFAS, I don't believe we have technically approved that yet. But for other contaminants, it can be regenerated. But it's not. There's a life cycle to it. Yeah. You can only regenerate it, a couple of times, and then you have to start over again. So it is an issue with the resources for the media. It has to be disposed of properly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is the contaminant of our times, for sure.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And to clarify, you asked for PFOA, but you mean for any PFAS.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's right.
PFOA and PFOS,
Right.
OS are regulated, and then there's other PFAS, the general perfluoroalkyl substances.
That's right.
Yep.
If I said that right. There's a whole class of them.
Yep.
But there's two currently regulated.
They're the drivers. Yeah.
That's right. Exactly. So, okay, great, big,
Yeah.
right? Obviously. Yeah.
I just want to learn as much as we can because it is the issue of now.
That's right.
Under Bill, the
Sure.
Congress provided a lot of money, 100% grants to take care of.
That's right. Yeah.
No, it's good.
Emerging contaminants in especially.
Just want to learn as much as I can on it.
No, thank you. It's great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Okay. There's nothing further. All those in favor of ID number 7?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous. ID number 8.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation authorizing financial assistance payments to a selected municipality to fund an eligible intermunicipal water infrastructure project.
Okay, can I have a motion and a second, please? James, thank you with the motion.
A second.
Vita, thank you with the second. David Phillips again.
This project is for the Suffolk County Water Authority, which includes installation of approximately 20,000 linear feet of new water main to extend public water service to the hamlet of Manorville in the town of Brookhaven, which will serve 64 residences that currently are on private wells that have detections of PFOA and PFOS. The public water service connection for the Suffolk County Water Authority system will provide these homes with public water meeting all regulatory standards.
Dave, discussion?
Well, just a question, Dave. I know obviously the well system, as it gets further out on Long Island, has produced all kinds of problems we've been battling for a long time in terms of contamination. This is going to serve Manorville and Brookhaven, but do you know if there's any further plans or if there's ability to build this in a way that's going to potentially help as it keeps going further out to deal with some of those other concerns?
Off the top of my head, I don't know how much of this was planned for future extension, but we are seeing several more projects involving the authority extending to serve areas.
Right. I think like for the lakes, the contamination out there has gotten nuts. So that's why I asked.
Yeah, that is a thing we're seeing more and more of, is these private wells coming in for projects for public water extensions.
Yeah, I guess my only point, and nothing to do with this particular approval or not, would just be to keep an eye on that and see if they're indeed, as we're financing projects, making sure that they're thinking systematically rather than just reactively.
Point, Adam, thank you.
Yeah, what you're saying is there a long-term plan that we're going to see them? Yeah.
And are the projects we're financing contributing to that, or just responding to a specific need, or can they be changed or designed in a way to help make that a reality as the broader systemic concerns?
You probably see them in the queue as you go through.
Okay. Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. ID number 9.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation amending prior authorizations for financial assistance to be provided by the corporation to certain recipients in connection with the Clean Water State Revolving Fund.
All right. Take a motion in second.
So moved.
Thank you. Take a second. Second. James with the second. Thank you. Brian McAvoy with presentation.
The Albany Municipal Water Finance Authority in Albany County is the first project. This project involves the planning, design, and construction of combined sewer overflow abatement projects constructed in the cities of Troy, Albany, and Cohoes in support of the Albany Pool Combined Sewer Overflow Long-Term Control Plan. We're seeking authorization to extend the maturity date from September 27, 2023 to December 31st, 2024. And the additional time is needed to allow for construction completion, the submission of construction contract documents, and the payment of final invoices. This extension will support participation in the anticipated 2024 pool. The next project is for the village of Corfu in Genesee. It's for the planning, design, and construction of a combined outflow and disinfection system at the town of Pembroke and the village of Corfu wastewater treatment plants. Project costs have increased from $918,000 and change to $1,498,750. We're requesting an increase that will be funded by a $360,687 increase in STIF proceeds, with the balance being covered by an already authorized WIA grant. The additional funds are needed because there were changes to the disinfection process at the plant, particularly the UV system designed to treat combined flow from both the village of Corfu and the town of Pembroke wastewater treatment plants.
Thanks, Brian. Discussion, questions? Excellent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous on ID number 9. ID number 10, please.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation making certain determinations and authorizing certain actions in connection with the Clean Water State Revolving Fund and authorizing financial assistance payments to certain municipalities to fund eligible clean water projects from funds appropriated for water infrastructure improvement projects.
Thank you, Kate. Take a motion in a second, please.
I'll make ID 10 motion.
Thank you, Vita. How about a second?
Second.
James, thank you. Bill Brazell will present.
Good afternoon. Today we have 10 clean water projects before the board for new financings. Busy. First off is the Village of Fonda in Montgomery County. It's the long-term interest-free financing. Request before the board today is for $813,950 long-term financing. This project also included a WIA grant of $275,000 as previously authorized. This project was for the replacement of sanitary sewers within the village and lining of some of the sewers within the village. Construction was completed in 2021. Next, we have the Village of Fredonia in Chautauqua County. It's a long-term interest-free financing for just under $4.9 million. This project also included a previously authorized WIA grant for nearly $1.2 million. This financing is for phase one of a two-phase project to replace certain equipment at the wastewater treatment plant that had reached the end of its useful life. Next, we have a short-term financing for the Village of Menands in Albany County. Request before the board is for just over $2.6 million in interest-free financing and also just over $2.6 million in market rate financing, and also a $1,707,325 WIA grant. This project includes the installation of approximately 10,000 linear feet of new sewer to replace existing sewer lines in the village. This is a joint project that includes a water line being replaced that Dave had mentioned earlier today. And this project was supported by an engineering planning grant from 2017. Next, we have back to a long-term financing in the Village of Middleport in Niagara County. The requested financing is $155,714 in long-term interest-free financing. This project also had a WIA grant previously authorized for $173,500. This project was for the installation of a new UV disinfection, ultraviolet disinfection system at the wastewater treatment plant. And this project was also supported by an engineering planning grant. That's from 2018. And next we have the Village of Naples in Ontario County. It's a long-term interest-free financing for just over $4.8 million. This project had included a $1.5 million WIA grant. This was a brand new collection system and wastewater treatment plant in the village. The project's been around for a long time. It's good to see it completed and going long term. The project was supported by an engineering planning grant from 2012.
Wow.
The first year that we did engineering planning grants. It took them a long time to get an affordable project. They did it.
It's great.
They're moving forward. Next is a short-term financing and a bill project, bill financing and grant for the Village of Newark in Wayne County. The request is $161,800 in base program interest-free financing, $349,200 in bill interest-free financing, and $511,000 in bill grant. This project is for a UV disinfection system to be installed at the wastewater treatment plant, along with a few other upgrades at the treatment plant and at a pump station. And this project will serve a potential EJ area and a disadvantaged community, DAC. This project was supported by an engineering planning grant from 2019. And next we have a long-term interest-free financing for the Village of Odessa in Schuyler County. Requested financing is just over $4 million interest-free financing. This project also included a WIA grant of nearly $700,000. This project was for a brand new collection and treatment system in the village. It serves a portion of the village, including a public school and approximately 200 residents. Next, we have another long-term interest-free financing in the city of Rensselaer, County, nearly $2.5 million in long-term interest-free financing. This project had included a $661,000 WIA grant and also a GHP grant of nearly $900,000. This project was for lining of collection sewers within the city of Rensselaer. It also included the decommissioning of one of the CSO structures into the Hudson River. So it's reducing combined sewer overflows into the Hudson River. Good thing. And then next we have Sleepy Hollow Lake in Greene County. A long-term market rate financing of just over $6.9 million. This project included upgrades at the wastewater treatment plant and rehabilitation of pump stations in the collection system. And then finally, we have a new short-term financing with WIA grant for the village of Wayland in Steuben County. Proposed financing is $1.125 million in interest-free financing, $2.125 million in short-term market rate financing, and a $750,000 WIA grant. And this project will include various upgrades at the wastewater treatment plant, including a new UV disinfection system. This project was supported with an engineering planning grant from 2018. Are there any questions on these projects?
It's a question on the Sleepy Hollow one, the second to last.
Yes.
Has EFC had a relationship with them before? It says that the original system was constructed in the 70s and it needs a fix. I'm just wondering, I couldn't tell if it's just coming in for the first time or if we were involved before.
We had a short.
Oh, yeah.
This is a long-term market rate rolling from a short.
Okay. But before that, before this round?
No.
I think they.
Private association that just needed help.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have one quick question. And maybe it's just I don't understand the timing on it. I'm in the village of Newark, Greene County, when you said, I'm looking at the wording, potential environmental justice area and disadvantage. What's the potential?
DEC term.
Yeah, so it's DEC has EGIA maps and its potential environmental justice area.
Okay. I thought so. Okay.
So
I just wanted to
they
make sure
determine it by certain things, but.
My brain just went like, why is that up for debate?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So we've been saying.
I know they dropped
just
the
say
P.
EJ.
We did, but now we're putting it back.
We're putting it back in and it caught my brain and I'm
And-
like, something's.
Right, and environmental justice areas do not match disadvantaged community.
Yeah, I know of those.
Yeah,
Necessarily.
so
In this case,
we
they
look
do.
at both.
I just forgot about the potential
Yeah.
It's
in my brain.
Potential usually means is,
Like a pending or something. And
yeah, well,
And I knew we had
it's
our
because you
maps.
look at minority populations and income, and those are usually indicators, generally indicators that it's a disadvantaged community or has been overburdened by environmental. Yeah.
Thanks for helping my brain clarify. Appreciate it.
Anything further? Great. All those in favor of ID number 11?
Aye.
No.
Number 10.
10.
Or
Yeah.
10?
Way to
Aye.
go. Way to move us
Ah,
on.
you're right.
Aye.
Sorry. ID number 10, my apologies.
And 11 is
Aye.
important.
Aye.
I don't wanna skip it.
Sure, exactly.
Thinking. Okay, unanimous. ID number 11, Kate.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation making certain determinations and authorizing the transfer of certain funds to assist the city of Mount Vernon.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second, please.
I'll make a second.
Great, thank you, Christine and Charlie. Maureen will present. I will assist.
As needed. So this is authorizing EFC to use administrative funds to pre-finance really a water quality improvement project grant of $10 million that the city of Mount Vernon received from DEC a couple of years ago to upgrade wastewater, outfalls 24 and 34, which will keep raw sewage from going into the Hutchinson River and obviously improve water quality. So they have the $10 million WQIP, but DEC pays on a reimbursement, and Mount Vernon is very financially distressed. So they can't pay their vendors unless they have the money. So we will pay on invoices as we do for all projects, right? They can pay their vendors, and then when the city gets the money on their WQIP project, they will turn it back into us. So we will we're seeking authorization for $10 million to match the WQIP amount, but we don't we won't go out the agreement that we have with the city. We won't provide at any time more than 2.5 at any one time, which should be enough to cover until they get the WQIP reimbursement. And also, if they have money from DEC that they haven't then yet turned over to us, we won't give them additional funds. So it's just to recognize their, the assistance they need with capacity. We've already provided them some money under the administrative funds that you, as the board, had approved over a year ago.
And if it wasn't clear, our WQI program is a reimbursement-based program. So the spending has to occur first. Right. Reimbursements will then be made. So this will allow the community to spend the money, do the project, which is very important. Health and safety, very disadvantaged communities. And then they will reimburse EFC with our grant.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, it's an advantage that EFC has is that we pay on invoices.
Yep.
So you don't actually have to have paid.
This is something we do quite commonly for all.
Oh, we do it for everybody. This isn't
Not
right.
for DEC, but other funding sources that reimburse.
Correct.
We finance them.
Yeah.
Let's get them going.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Around
Again, I just, it's sort of unusual, but it's also really important. And maybe at some point, maybe just an update on how it's going, just from time to time. Because it's, like you said, it's like EFC to the rescue. That's great.
Yeah, we have gosh, I knew it and now I've forgotten a number of.
Meeting, you were down at Mount.
Yes, I was.
Right.
That's
at
right.
Mount Vernon. I wasn't at the governance committee. To talk about the work that's been done in the year since the governor made the $150 million state commitment to the city. So with the city and the county, EFC, DEC, a number of state agencies, we've done a lot of work down there, have a number of agreements, and have been able to get money to the city quickly, given them money to help with capacity so that they have an engineer to help them and move them along. And so they're really starting to make some good progress.
Awesome. Yeah, keep us updated on
great.
that.
Happy to.
Thank you.
Francis, Adam, anything further from either of you on that issue?
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor of ID number 11?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous. And our final resolution, ID number 12.
Resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation authorizing the president of the corporation or the president's designee to negotiate and enter into a contract for financial printing services.
Thank you, Kate. Could I have a motion and a second, please?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Vita.
Second.
Thank you, James. Maureen McGrath with the presentation.
Last one, I'll be quick. Our contract with Top and Merrill expired on June 16th, 2023. Top and Merrill doesn't offer web hosting services for the issuances, which is unfortunate, but not a lot of companies do. So EFC staff decided it was best to issue a request for quotes from other vendors who might offer that service. ImageMaster was the only vendor to respond to the RFQ, and they are an industry leader for financial printing, and they do offer web hosting services through the Muni OS platform, as well as the hosting of Muni Bond roadshows, which is interesting. So at this time, EFC is requesting board approval to enter into a contract with ImageMaster for these services. It's about $5,000. So it's not a lot of money, but because we're entering into a more than a 1-year contract, it requires board approval.
Thank you.
Just a quick question. And when we get on a new vendor, particularly like this, we follow through and make sure that they're meeting all of our cybersecurity requirements.
Those are
And they do
addendums to
the
our
questionnaires and I know the answer. I just wanted to make sure everyone knew.
Thank you, Vida. Any other
Cyber's
discussion?
important.
It is. Okay. All those in favor of ID number 12?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. That was a healthy agenda. So quickly, no, unless there's anyone else at new business?
I just have something quickly. I received yesterday, and I was out at a conference all day, a letter from a community, and all of the board members were copied on that. So I just wanted to let you know, have to review it, and we will follow up with you on that, if anybody's wondering.
Great, thank you. So quick thank you to my fellow board members on a pretty robust agenda. The quickness with which we does not, I think, identify how complex and important these things are. So I think it shows how well-read they are into the issues. So thank you on that. But the reason why that's the case is staff and leadership at EFC, exemplary. So big thank you to them for this robust annual agenda. And with that, I will take a motion and second for adjournment.
First, I'm going to say thank you to you, Chairman, for all your service.
No, thanks.
Here, here. Motion to adjourn, Chairman.
Thank you, Francis. Thank you, Charlie. Next meeting will be Thursday, August 24 at 11:30, preceded by finance at 11. All those in favor of adjournment? Aye.
Have a great summer all.
Thanks, everybody.
Great summer.